Have you been wondering if it's time to quit selling on eBay, if it's time to just give it up and call it a day? Well, we've got a show for you. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. I'm Prof Sales.
I'm not. I'm Karin.
And here on this channel, we talk about business, reselling, being an entrepreneur, mindset, eBay, Amazon. Gosh, what else do we talk about what do we not talk about?
That would be a shorter list. We talk about all the thingies.
All the thingies. So just to give you a heads up, this is a live show. There's a live chat room going on right now. If you'd like to join us on a day when we're usually on at 2 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Eastern Standard Time. But you will hear us interact with people in the chat, but feel free to leave us a question or comment after this video post and let us know, what you thought of the show. If you have specific questions and so on, we'll do our best to answer them. All right, so we have 6, looks weird.
Oh, it's backwards.
Now we have 12 when we do that. We have 6 questions that you need to ask yourself. Is it time to quit selling on eBay? Now, I just want to say, this is not about, is selling on eBay a good or a bad thing?
And if you answer yes or no to the following questions, you better quit now.
Right. This is about, is selling on eBay right for you? And if not, should you go do something else? And that's not a judgment if you decide to do that. It's not saying, oh, you failed at it. You have to figure out what works for you. And if something doesn't work for you, failure is continuing to do it, even though you know it doesn't work for you. That's kind of a failure. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to break it down into 6 questions, and we're going to go through them. Karin's going to do some of them, I'm going to do some of them, and we'll get feedback as well. But the first question I want you to ask yourself is this: does selling on eBay feel like a job, or does it feel like a business and or hobby? Now, if it feels more like a job for you, Karin asked me, she said, what's wrong with it being like a job? Right?
Yes.
And do you remember what I said? I'll tell them what I said. What's wrong is nothing is wrong with it, but it's an expensive, if you're going into business selling on eBay just to end up with kind of a job, quote unquote, where you put in the hours to make the dollars, so to speak, it's a really expensive, time consuming, mentally exhausting way to have a job. You could go work for someone else and not have to deal with being in business for yourself, with unemployment tax or with self-employment taxes, with all the tax burden, with dealing with every single little nuance of a business. You could just go have a very specific role in somebody else's business and not have to deal with all those headaches. So I don't think that this being a job is really the right approach. To me, especially if you're going to go full time, it means building a business, something greater than just you, something that you can evolve with. But if you feel like every morning you have to get up and punch the eBay time clock, so to speak, I don't know that that's going to feel right after a while. I think that's going to wear on you. Now, we're not talking about what you make from it. We're talking about your perception of it. This is not about how much money you make on it or how little. Has nothing to do with that. It's really about your mindset. So if eBay is feeling like a job to you and not a great business opportunity or even a fun hobby, it might be time. That might be a reason to quit selling on eBay.
Number 2, do other opportunities seem more in line with your goals and interests? So other things are going to come up, right? Other opportunities are going to arrive. And I think that this one stems from, we're constantly bombarded with all kinds of, pulls on our time, on our energy, right? So eBay is one way to make money, but it's certainly not the only way. And this speaks to both part-time and full-time eBayers, I think. But we'll talk a lot about what fulfills you and what makes you happy. And what, I get that you have to pay the bills too, but you may find more satisfaction pursuing something else. Because
right.
If, and we're going to talk about the grind and what you have to do to make this work and the passion that you need to show and share. But you might find more satisfaction doing something else. And you can certainly scale back your eBay if that's the case, or quit altogether.
Yep, agree. I mean, you know, there's lots of other opportunities out there. And I just think that life is too short to spend all this time wailing away at something if it doesn't feel right to you. Even if you're successful at it, that's probably the trickiest thing, right, Karin? I mean, there's things, we've talked about this in the past couple of years, her and I. There are things that you may be good at, but you still should not do, which seems counterintuitive. But it's just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it, because it may not fulfill you at all. It may actually, you may be good at the thing, but what it's doing to you internally and mentally, into your relationships and so on, and how you feel about yourself and those things may be negative, I don't know the word I'm using here, a negative impact. So I don't know if that's always the way, you know, you don't always want to do it just because you're quote unquote good at it. There's other opportunities. So
a negative Nancy. Yeah. And we got into a big debate over that, actually. Just because you're while back, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you need to keep doing it over and over again. And I'm going to do number 3 because this one is near and dear to me. As you guys know, I left a corporate job exactly a year ago. And number 3 asks you, do you struggle with routine and miss the structure found in many jobs? And while I could not stand my job, J-O-B, I did enjoy the structure, the discipline, the plan. You know, especially if you're full time at this, it takes discipline. And somebody already in the chat mentioned how they, it's not a job and how they have to structure their day and everything. But you may miss that structure. If you're not putting it in place for yourself, you may miss someone else providing it for you, right? And many people that we encounter fail to implement a structure into their own eBay business and processes each day, right? So what happens then is this is going to lead to focusing too much on one area, perhaps, and maybe not enough on another, right?
Right.
Oh, I went to yours. Sorry. You're not going to get things done, perhaps. And one of the things that I like to joke with you about all the time is analysis paralysis. It's kind of funny that you put that there on my number. But yeah, you miss the format, the structure, the discipline of that regular job because it's on you, brothers and sisters. You have to make it work. And if you can't do it yourself and you're struggling with that, then maybe this is not for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, routine is huge for a lot of people, you know, to Karin's point. And I just think that if you can't find a routine around eBay, you can be somewhat successful, you know, however you want to define that. But the success may not take the place of just it being so herky-jerky. You can feel like you're reacting to things and going, you know, just putting out fires. And that can get very stressful and very time-consuming and very tiring for a lot of people. And some people are just not good at coming up with a routine for it. I mean, I've struggled with it. I think everybody struggles with it. I think the struggle is just what it is. There's always going to be a struggle. But if that lack of routine is really paralyzing you and really leading you to just, you know, not sure what to do and all these things, I mean, it may be time to quit. Number 4. So here's the 4th one. This one is interesting to me because this one comes up a lot in the reseller groups, and you have to be mindful of. Is your overall perception of eBay positive or negative? Where do your thoughts lay in respect to positivity or negativity? So there can be a tendency when you sell on eBay to focus on all the negative things that happen to you or around you in your business, your selling, your hobby, whatever it is you're doing on there. You can focus on the fees. You can focus on, oh, eBay is so expensive and, you know, they take this amount out. PayPal takes that amount out. And you're right. They do take out fees. That's their business model.
Don't forget about those scammers. Everybody's out to get you.
Yeah. Difficult customers. I mean, difficult customers, guys, if you're going to sell things to people, those are customers. And sometimes they're going to be difficult because guess what? People are difficult. So it's not like there's a special breed of customer who lives on eBay or special breed who lives on Amazon or Poshmark. I mean, they're just people. And you're always going to have people who are going to be challenging to you. I mean, you know, if you don't want any more difficult customers, you know, start a YouTube channel. Then you'll get, you know, difficult. I just want to see her face if I said that. You're going to have difficult people who are going to come at you for all kinds of reasons. They're going to say things and do things. They're going to make you upset. But if you're focusing on that all the time, that could be a concern. The changing rules on eBay. eBay has changed dramatically, and there's no reason to think that the way they have it right now is perfection and is like the best way that, you know, the platform can be run. They're going to continue to evolve as an e-commerce platform, and that's just the way it goes. So if you don't, you know, if you can't deal with changing rules, I would recommend you do not sell on eBay, because they will absolutely change the rules on you at some point. It will be different. And it might be in a way where it's different that you don't like the new change. And I always laugh when I hear that, when people say, oh, I hate it when they change things. And I thought, you realize that it had to change to get to the point where it is now that you think is so great. Like, that was a series of changes that led to that. So that's just the way it goes. But it can lead to a lot of uncertainty if you only focus on the negative parts of selling on eBay. And I just, you know, I think there's a lot of positives to being an entrepreneur. You're helping connect customers to products. That's what I feel like I'm in business to do. Like, I'm looking for products that I think people will buy, that I can make a profit on, and that they'll be happy with. I really think about it that way, and I don't always succeed in that. Sometimes I don't make as much profit as I thought. Sometimes the customer's not as happy as I thought they would be with the product. I mean, those things are going to happen, but I always think about that. I think, would I wear this? Would I use this? Does this meet, you know, my standards? And if it doesn't, I don't buy it. You know, I don't source it. And I just think it comes back to your perspective, guys. You know, you can look at the fees, you can look at difficult customers, you can look at changing rules, you can look at scammers, whatever you want to, and you can focus on that, and that will become your reality. And if that becomes your reality, I promise you, you will not be happy selling on eBay. You will be frustrated, you will be angry, you will be bitter, you will be fearful of new things and changes. And it will not be a pleasant experience. And it really can be a pleasant experience, but you cannot go into it with that mindset. So if you're feeling that way, either try to turn that around or consider leaving the platform would be my recommendation.
Well, and somebody pointed out in the chat that that's, you know, a lot of what we're about. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people that are going to build you up, not tear you down. So if you go in with the mindset that, you know, the rules, restrictions, negatives are going to outweigh, you know, the profit, the positives, etc. If you go in with that attitude, guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And then you sort of get in these chats and these talks and these groups with other people that are just going to fuel your fire and support what you have to say. So just, you know, you make a choice. You either subscribe to that or you don't.
Right. Number 5.
Oh, number 5 is me. So have you given eBay your best shot? Have you put in your 110%? And your results, have they left you feeling let down? And you're a little disappointed. Well, it's harder than you thought to do this eBay thing, yeah? So just because Jason can do it, you thought you could do it. Or
it's hard for me.
Yeah,
I'm not an expert by any means.
So the struggle is real every day, right? So it became harder than you thought, and you've literally reached your capacity. Like, you and I talk a lot about capacity, what we're capable of in any given day, month, year, whatever. So I read that completely wrong. So some nuts are just too tough to crack. I just love it when he puts in random things that I'm just gonna not even know what to say. So anyway, some mountains are more difficult for others to climb. You know, we talked, our Monday motivation this week was about getting over mountains and taking that first step. It doesn't make you a poor business person. It just means that maybe reselling on eBay may not be the right choice for you. You know, it's more than, I think if you're able to log on to your Facebook, I think if you're able to sign on to a computer, the internet, whatever, can you do eBay? Probably. We joke all the time about with new resellers that struggle to pull the trigger. If you're not able to connect your PayPal to your eBay, maybe it's not for you, right? Like, but my point is, everybody can probably do it. It's just a matter of what do you do with that?
Yeah, no, and you know, guys, there's no way, nobody really knows how hard you try or not how hard you try, but you. I mean, because you are the only person in control of your mindset, your capabilities, you know what you feel like. And there's all kinds of reasons why we don't give something our best shot. You know, full disclosure, I absolutely do not give eBay my best shot every single day, all the time. And I don't think anyone really can or does. There are times when I've given it a tremendous, you know, maybe above and beyond what I would normally do, and other times not so much. And that's pretty normal. But I think you have to look at the sum total of your entire experience with the platform and decide, you know, did I really go after this the way I said I was going to go after it? And then the results I got over a period of time were not as good as I thought. And is that a deal breaker? And only you can answer those questions. I can't answer those questions for you. I can't tell you whether you should keep plugging away or not. All I can tell you is, hey, here's some questions you might want to ask yourself. Like, did you give it a really great shot? Have you been given a really great shot? And it's just not working out for you. If it's not, again, it's not a failure on your part. It just means it's not the right opportunity for you. It's just not the right course of action. You know, you still have something else that's going to come down the road that's going to be far greater. You know, you're destined for success in something else, but you can't get so wrapped up in the failure of one avenue that you fail to see there's a lot of other roads to take. So, you know, always keep that in mind.
Well, and you have to be honest with yourself. You know, I think a lot of times we feed ourselves the same lip service fairy tale that we give other people, maybe, that sort of filters our success or filters our effort. And only you know if you're waking up and spending your day, you know, not in your pajamas. And that's not don't get me wrong, it's not a crack at people that work in their pajamas. For all you know, I'm wearing pajama bottoms right now. I'm not. I had to go out earlier, but I digress as usual. So, but only you know if you're really giving it your all. You know, are you getting distracted and watching the stories in the afternoon?
The stories.
I haven't watched.
You just called it the stories.
I did. But anyway, are you playing Candy Crush? Are you on your way?
It's not 2014.
Anyway, are you on the way back from the post office? Are you stopping to buy that pair of socks or get your nails done or shop for the latest? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be honest with yourself, and only you know if you're putting forth the right, correct, and enough energy towards your business.
And you know what? If you're consistently not putting forth as much effort as you think you should into eBay, it just may not be the right thing for you. You know, again, I wouldn't look at that as like a negative about yourself. It just may be, hey, I don't have capacity for this. I don't have interest in this. I don't have passion for this. I don't have enough, whatever it is you need to get it done. Again, not in any way a critique of you. It's just, it's not the right opportunity.
I have an example, right?
Right.
So in my, since I quit corporate America, I help out a lot around here, right? So imagine this. Here's a good sort of parallel. So in my day job, I help Jason list. And then I have my own store where I list as well. And I found that I am just not motivated to do it once and then do it all over again.
Right.
You know, and for me, that's been a struggle and that's been a hurdle. And it's not doing anything because I'm not putting any extra effort towards that part of the business. I'm certainly doing a lot of it here. But if I want that part of my income streams, if you will, to prosper, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to do it and do it better.
So that takes us to number 6. This is the last question that I want you to ask yourself. Is it time to quit selling on eBay? I think you need to ask yourself this question. Does the thought of building a business on eBay, whatever that looks like to you, does the thought of building a business on eBay excite you as it once did? Now, I'm not one of these people who thinks that you have to just be passion driven all the time. You have to have some nuts and bolts. You have to have some get in there and just do it mentality as well when passion falters, because you can't live in a place of just all this passion for eBay business every single second. That's not reality. You're not going to wake up every day and want to process orders. You're not going to wake up every day and want to source things or list things. I mean, you're not. It's just not the way we're built. But something drew you to eBay in the first place. I don't know what it was, but you decided, hey, I thought it might be a cool idea. It might be awesome to build a business to sell on eBay. And now you've done that. And you had this passion, you had this drive, you had this thought in your mind that this could be a great thing for me, something I will get a lot of value out of, make money at, whatever all of your objectives were. And now reality hit. And you found that reality is different than your perception of what you thought it would be like, which tends to make us lose passion in something. I read this book the other day, or this story that said, we tend to be passionate about things we're good at. And we're not as passionate about things that we're not good at. Because when we're good at something, we get results from it. We play a game and we win. We do a project and we get it completed super quick and it looks awesome. And it's awesome. You know, we sell on the platform and we get great results. And that tends to make us more and more passionate about it. It keeps our passion level high. But I think the true test of that passion is when results aren't what you thought they would be. You don't feel like doing it. What happens to you? What happens to your mindset there? You know, you can get kind of disillusioned about eBay. And that can be when some of these other things come into play where you start saying, well, it's the scam buyers and it's the fees and it's the changes and it's the, you know, the thrift store prices are too high and the yard sales around me suck. And, you know, every time I list something, it glitches and so on and so on and so on and so on. There's all these excuses, but they all stem from what are you feeling inside about your desire to continue in this business and on this platform or not? And I'm going to tell you, as someone who buys and sells full-time on eBay, I question that passion every day. Every day I question it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I think if you're not questioning it, then maybe you're not really fully aware of who you are. You know, I think anytime you just blindly go down a path forever or for a long period of time without really stopping to think about, is this the right path or not, you tend to go down the wrong path. So at some point, and maybe for a long time with kind of disastrous results in some cases. So I think it's okay to question that. But at the end of the day, I always come back to, nope, I like this platform. I like selling on it. I like the way my life is being in business for myself, which eBay is a big part of it. You know, all these things that really help. So it's okay to have doubt. Doubt is normal. It's natural. It's perfectly acceptable. If you don't have doubt, then, you know, maybe you're looking at this entirely differently than most people do. But you're always going to come back to that sort of inner, you know, I had this passion for doing this, and this is what drives me to continue doing it, even when it gets hard. And it will get hard. It will be hard. Sometimes it'll be difficult for a long time, much longer than you thought it could be, to when you just want to give up. You want to go a whole different direction. And again, totally normal. So, I mean, you've just described, that describes, and I remind myself of it, and I forget at times too, and I think we all do, but I have to remind myself that the struggle is just the way it's going to be. But you have to kind of have that passion in the background, or, you know, you won't be able to get through the difficult times if you don't.
Well, and it goes back to the beginning. You have to enjoy it. I think the passion, as well as being something you're good at, You have to enjoy it. And one of the ways we enjoy things is one way that we do is we're constantly learning new things. We're meeting new people. We're sharing ideas, right?
Right.
And that's, I think that's rewarding too. It keeps it fresh. And the way we have it set up, there's always something different to do. So don't get stuck in a rut where you're only listing or you're only photographing. Get up, walk around, see the sun, Yeah,
there's got to be something outside of this. Like you sitting at your desk, working on eBay for hour after hour after hour is not going to make you necessarily more successful. It is going to make you less healthy. It's probably going to make you more stressed and have more frustration about the things that are bothering you. So you got to have some balance there. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for people to just pour in tremendous hours into it and tremendous energy at the expense of everything else in their life. I think that's very detrimental, and that catches up to you. It doesn't matter if you're 25 or 55. You can't do that forever. That has a big impact on you, and it's a negative impact. So you got to have some sort of balance there. But, you can only, every time, what is it we like to say? When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to an infinite number of things that you could be doing or could be seeing or could be saying. So you have to decide every moment, every hour, every day, what am I going to devote my time and energy to today that's going to bring me the biggest return on my investment? Is it business? Is it my job? Is it my family? Is it a relationship? Is it a friendship? Is it, any number of things, a leisure activity? And you got to make that decision. And eBay is no different. You have to make that decision. You got to figure out that calculus and decide, I want to keep selling on this platform because it brings me all these things. Yes, there's these things over here I don't like, I don't care for, I don't like doing, but these things over here outweigh them, and I'm going to continue to do it. Or, as the question we posed at the very beginning, maybe you decide it's not worth it anymore. And those things that you don't like about it are far outweighing the things that you do like about it, and you should go do something different. That's okay. I think we should be able to say that in the reseller community. It's okay to decide, maybe this is not the thing for me. Maybe it's not time for, and maybe it's not, the right time for me. And maybe it will be again. Someone was saying in the chat that they had went to the corporate world and they missed selling and came back to it. So, this is all a journey, guys. It's not like, you have to decide one thing and just do it that way forever. That's just not the way it works. So, all right. So 6 questions there. Just to reiterate, does eBay feel like a job and not a business or a great hobby? Do other opportunities seem more in line with your goals and interests? Do you struggle with routine and misstructure found in many jobs? Is your overall perception of eBay positive or negative? And where do your thoughts lay in respect to positivity or negativity? Have you given eBay your best shot and your results leave you feeling let down? And the last one, does the thought of building a business on eBay excite you as it once did? So 6 great questions. I'm not going to say if you answer 3 yes and 3 no, you should do this or that. You got to decide. Some of them may weigh more heavily than others. But I thought it would be cool to talk about this topic today because I think people who sell on eBay a lot, sometimes we don't stop to think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? We get up and we just sort of do something. And, you got to think about, what am I getting out of this? What am I putting into it? What are the costs? What are the benefits? And always a good way to look at it.
So in addition to this being your positive place on the internet, it's your no judgment zone too. You live once, so you got to try different hats on, right? And just try it. And maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, but it's all right. It's okay. So high five to those of you that have come and gone. Yeah. And especially high five, like there's a lot of folks that aren't full-time, but are full-time somewhere else, like moms of 3, 4, 5 kids, fellas or girls that work, a full-time job and then have to come home and then list this. So we get it. The struggle is there. It's real. More power to you. So high five to everybody. I feel like I can't high five one group of people and not just friggin' high five everybody. So
right.
Cheers and high five.
Cheers and high five. All right, so we will move on to other things here. And if you have questions, by the way, guys,
it's that time.
It's a live chat, so you can type them in the chat room. Type the word question in front of your question or a bunch of question marks so that we know that it is a question and not just a comment, and we'll do our best to answer it if we can.
And so today's action word is share. And as Brian said earlier, I should perhaps Sheryl Crow it and sing to you if it makes you happy, but I'll spare you. So, but if it makes you happy, if what you've heard today makes sense or you think it might have impact on somebody else, consider sharing it.
Yep. There's a share button right down below this video. And I think you can even do it while it's live, but I know you can do it after a post. And just consider sharing with somebody else, maybe somebody else who's been struggling with eBay or thinking about staying on eBay would be a perfect person to kind of go in, and maybe they'll just think about some of these questions and maybe have some clarity and know what to do next. So, but anyway, all right. So a couple other things want to mention. Some people have been asking me about, I guess for lack of a better word, a guide to jeans and so on. And I just want to say, I can't say too much about it right now, but there is such a guide in the works, and that will be coming out in the future, the not too distant future. I can't say too much about it right now because there's still some things that have to be worked out. But I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be a guide to buying and selling jeans on eBay. Well, not buying them on eBay, but buying them to sell on it.
And not your run-of-the-mill hitchhiker's guide either.
No. I'll put everything I've learned in there, and let's be clear, I don't know everything about jeans, not even close. There's people who know tons more than me, but I at least can give you the benefit of what I know, and you can use that hopefully to jeans and make some great profit on them when you sell them.
So I took your advice, and I've been researching jeans and learning new stuffs about the things. Yeah, I have. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a veritable Genicopedia.
All right, so what else? What do you got over there, Trixie?
I don't know. Do we have questions? Large wants to know about the Greensboro Bends. Good, bad, or okay? And hey, if you're that close, why aren't you coming to visit us? You silly.
Greensboro Bends. We've been there, right? Which one's the Bends?
It's been a long time.
I can't remember. Or did we not go to that one? No, we've been there. I don't actually remember about the Greensboro Bends, Large, and so I don't want to say. I mean,
it was
they're
not
Bends.
Yeah, it's not very. Come here. Ours are better, cleaner, nicer, bigger. I think everybody pretty much agrees with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
inventory update. We're still doing it. How was that?
That was good. So we
have a sourcing. We are under a sourcing moratorium, not a death pile that we talked about the other day, because our numbers are not that great to warrant the definition.
No, we don't have a death pile. We do not have a death pile. Which, if you watched Monday, you would know.
You would know what a death pile is, and how do you know if you've got one? But here's the thing. So we're starting to get bottlenecks with our inventory process, and I think we just need to gut it out. So we don't want to, but we're just going to have to do it because this is what's happening. So the things that we bought are kind of sitting on deck to be processed, right? Because the things that we bought and processed already are ready to go, but we're reluctant to move them back into the inventory because we're going to take all of those numbers. Remember, we're comparing 3 different lists here. What eBay says we have for sale, what we say we have for sale, and what physically we have for sale.
Yeah.
So no more sourcing, no more anythinging until inventory gets done. And it'll be a stress lesser free place here. Stress lesser.
I don't know what you just said, but Camila asked, can you do a show on how to tell the different style of jeans? Flare and boot cut are hard to tell apart. They're actually, that's a good question, Camila. They're actually not too bad. Typically, jeans manufacturer has a slightly different opinion about what a boot cut is. But one thing you can almost always count on is this. When you see a boot cut pair of jeans, so imagine this is the knee. I'm trying to get it lined up. Imagine this is the distance between the knees. Okay, you're throwing me off. And so you're going down to the cuff, and at the cuff there will be just a little bit of flare. I don't want to say flaring out because it's going to be, but they tend to be fairly straight through the knees. Whereas with a flare jean, you'll still have that, you know, flaring out at the bottom, kind of triangular, but the knees will tend to be narrower. So it really accentuates this idea that when you get to the bottom, when you get to the cuff of the jeans, that it's flared out because the knee area is small. There's not a lot of extra fabric right there. That's one kind of quick, easy way you can usually tell boot cut from flare. That's going to work most of the time. I mean, the leg opening on boot cut is usually about 16 to 20 inches around, but it depends a little bit on the manufacturer. Some manufacturers, you know, might have a flare at 20 inches around. So that's a flare. So I don't want to say it's just that, but typically the knee area will be skinnier, and then you'll see sort of this angular motion going out at the bottom on a flare cut, whereas a boot cut, it's more straight through the knee, and then it just kind of comes out just a little bit at the cuff. So hopefully that made sense.
Nudies. Okay, so Victoria found a pair of nudie men's jeans that do not appear to have ever been worn, but they don't have a tag. Shall I sell them as new without tag? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because you're not the end user, if you will. You're not the originator of them, and you just don't know. And with denim in particular, on a new pair of jeans, if it's been washed, that's going to affect not the integrity, but the you know, the feel of it. I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
Because unless you were the original purchaser, you don't know. And if you got it at a Goodwill, you can almost assume, or a thrift, you can almost assume that it is or was used. So I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Good find though. Nudies are nice.
Yeah, you just don't know, like Karin said. And so, you know, I mean, you know, the end user might not know either, but if they smell detergent or something, you know, or think they do.
And you can also always put in your description how sweet they are, right? Like if it's a really nice pair, just say that they're in excellent condition. Go into a little bit more detail with your words and take awesome pictures so that you communicate to the buyer what a sweet deal they're getting from you.
Yeah. So, Rob just... Krillin, thank you very much for that super chat. I just left a message saying no more sourcing, blasphemous.
Rob, you're my favorite.
Just for now.
No, it's it's the moratorium should only last another couple of days, because what we're doing is, you know, school started and we're working on some other projects and we're just being pulled in other directions.
Right.
And, you know, we've talked about this before where we are our worst bottleneck at times. So we just need to gut it out. And we talked when we first started this about doing things that you like doing or that you're passionate about.
Right,
and certain parts of this business we're just not. And inventory is just not doing it for either one of us. So we're just going to suck it up, Buttercup.
Rhiannon had a very nice comment there. Said, at Plato's, we used to fold the hem of jeans to the knees. That immediately showed boot cut versus flare, straight and skinny. Yep, that's a great trick. That's a great trick too.
That is a great trick.
Yep.
Well, and you've got bell bottoms too, but that's a whole different, like bell would be, you should know a bell bottom compared to a flare because it's really going to come out from the knee.
And honestly, in most jeans, boot cut's going to be more prevalent, even, especially with men. Obviously, men's aren't going to be flares, but you're going to see more boot cut jeans in general than flare jeans. But there are cases where it gets a little tricky to tell them apart just because of the manufacturer's got their own. You know, you can always go to the manufacturer website and look too. If you've got the tag of who makes it, they sometimes will tell you, hey, a flare opening is like this and a boot cut opening is this, and they'll tell you very specifically. Let's see. There was another question I missed up here.
Well, listing quality versus quantity. Yes and no. I mean, we have friends that are all about the numbers, and quantity works better for them than the highest quality. So.
Right, right.
I mean, I get your point, but it can work both ways.
Illinois Picker asked about auctions ending at 0 and some at 99. New strategy on that. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit, Illinois Picker. Just this idea that who was I telling that the other day? I think this idea that it changing prices even on your items when they fall out, like when they end, say you have a 30-day listing and a bunch of them in, and you change the pricing. I think there's some evidence that kind of resets the algorithm for eBay to sort of re-index at least those listings because they're going to basically be new anyway. They're going to be new item number. And also it gives you a way to kind of track how long you've had the item too. You can use all kinds of scaling there. You can say, you know, when it drops 1 penny, it's 1 month, or
98,
or
97,
10 days.
96,
Say you're doing
95,
right. Say you're doing 10-day listings. You know, a 1 penny drop is 10 days. 2 penny is 20 days. Whatever you want to do. But it's both of those reasons, and we'll see. I don't know if it's really gonna do anything or not. I did sell a pretty old pair of jeans yesterday. They were number 299 on my list of items.
Oh, did you? I missed it.
Yeah, so they were pretty old. That was kind of cool. I don't know exactly how long I've had those listed. Probably a couple years, to be perfectly honest. They've been listed for a while.
And we still have the mystery number 1 pair, or did that one go?
It's still here.
Well, and IP said that from the psychology on it from your perspective, from your retail history. Like, elaborate on what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this idea, people say, you know, if you charge 99 cents for something, you're basically getting the full dollar profit without people thinking it is the next level. So if you charge, it's not $20, it's $19.99. I don't know. I think people are smart enough to realize it's $20. You know, I mean, basically, if it's $19.99, it's $20. But there might be some psychology there where people say, well, it's 20, but it's not $20.50, you know, or $21.35. It's right at $20. So you basically are getting the same benefit of saying it's 20 plus some. I guess there's some psychology or some evidence that having it into 99 or 98 or 97 sticks out more in people's view, that catches their eye more than 0, like if you price an even number. I don't know. I've read those studies and so on, or read research about that. It's been a long time. But there's probably some psychology. I know Walmart would do that with their prices and, you know, make them like 73 cents ending or 87 cents. It catches people's attention. That's what you want to do. If they see your item, you got a chance of them buying it, right?
I will play with our merch, with our shirts. I'll play around a little bit with that on the shirts, just to sort of do something a little bit differently. And with one of the designs, I think it actually made a difference because I think it was like something patriotic. And I think I put $17.76 as the price.
Yeah. Yeah. Marilyn asks, I haven't been through fourth quarter yet. What do we sell? I sell pre-owned clothing, but I can't imagine sales going through the roof for used clothes. Are the big sales just new toys and gifts? People get a little caught up in the fourth quarter, Marilyn. So usually you see a bump in clothing. Part of that too is because weather is changing, which changes what people need in their wardrobe. You know, in the wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere, it's colder. So people tend to wear more pants and long sleeve shirts and coats and things like that, you know. Whereas in the summertime, it's more about shorts and things like that. I think there's just a mindset there too with the holidays where they think about, you know, spending around Christmas time and so on. So usually most resellers, clothing resellers, are going to see a bump that time of year for all those reasons. What's attributed to what? It's a little tough to say. You know, how much of it's this reason or that.
Is it Danver? Mom jeans are making a comeback, but moms aren't wearing them.
True story.
You can thank the Kardashians for that, probably.
Mom jeans in several brands can go for good money. Don't discount them.
Vintage in particular.
And the way you know they're mom jeans is they tend to be very high-waisted.
High-waisted.
Like they set up very high. They'll have a long rise usually on them. The front rise will be long from the top of the waistband to the zipper or the crotch seam. So yeah, look for like a mom jean, and even bread and butter brands might draw a premium. And I don't know if there's any specific rule against on eBay listing it as a mom jean. I don't know if there technically is a mom jean description, but people tend to know that that's a high-waisted jean. And some manufacturers call theirs mom jeans, but a lot of other ones don't. They're just a high-waisted jean. So
yeah, you got to go back to the 80s, I think.
Yeah, like 80s and early 90s.
80s and early 90s for that. We use Illustrator. Does that say Pajama Jam? I love it. But you can tell everybody what we just did.
Yeah, I was buying a single app license for Adobe Illustrator. It's like $32 a month. And I just decided that we needed some of the other products they had. So I got the Creative Cloud for $50 a month, which allows you to download Illustrator, Photoshop, Audition, the sound editing, Premiere, all these really cool tools.
It's like a list this long.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
That
so you know, check that out. I don't have any affiliation with Adobe, but I like their products. They're pretty amazing and can do pretty much anything you need for that. But there's cheap options out there too. You can use Canva. You can use, what's the one with a G? I can never think of it. Gimli.
Yeah.
Gimli. So there's some other ones out there too.
GIMP. Is that it? No, not GIMP. That's the monkey one.
It might be actually. Let's see. Well, if we get another question or two.
Yeah, the Danber mentioned the vintage bongos. Those are really, like, there's some more recent ones. You have to, the vintage bongos are really hard to find.
Illinois Picker, we are not doing free shipping on shoes. The only time I'll do free shipping on shoes if they would fit in a padded flat rate, like little sandals or something like that, but not on shoes. We're trying to do them on most of the jeans and so on. We're just playing around with it. I mean, I've gone back and forth with it, but I kind of feel like it's the way eBay's evolving. So I'm trying to get ahead of that trend right now before it happens. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. So, what's Rob, man? What are you on here? Can I plug my women's bulk clothing lot for sale? A lot of cashmere. I have a vid on my channel, this stuff. Sure.
I think we just did in reading it out loud.
No, I mean, yeah. So Rob in the chat, Krillin 876. That's his YouTube channel, and he's got a great channel there about, he shares his finds and so on, his info that he's found out. So go check out his, we don't normally do it, but he's a great friend of the show, and not a problem. And go ahead and, you know, check out his bulk clothing lot. Lots of cashmere. And cashmere, nice.
And I forgot that Lauren, we talked about that. She's got Creative Cloud as well. And she loves it.
Creative Cloud is cool. Adobe's got some great products. I mean, there's a learning curve. Don't misunderstand that. But man, they can do just so much. Yeah, we're really looking forward to the video editing and the audio. We've got some new toys. Yeah. How many designs are you guys allowed on merch? Does it make enough to pay for your Illustrator? Well, now we're doing the cloud, so we're getting other apps. Yeah, it was paid. It has paid for it, and we use it for other things too. It's not just for merch that we were using Illustrator for. So absolutely. And if you're just getting started, like if you've just gotten approved on merch, you do not have to pay for Creative Cloud or Illustrator. There are plenty of free apps out there that you can make your, you know, even Canva can be adapted. I'm not a big fan. I like Canva for, you know, social media, not so much the shirts, but even Canva, if you adjust the size, you can make that work as well. So there's plenty of free apps when you're just getting your feet wet. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, I know there's other questions out there, but I hope you guys will go back and check out the beginning of the show to decide if it's time for, you know, you to continue selling on eBay or not. So we really appreciate you guys coming out today, and don't forget to share this video. Share if it makes you happy. She's got a great voice. All right, so I'm Prof Sales. And I'm Karin. And saying good sales to you.